Now, making headline news today is the news that women should limit their booze intake, increase their exercise regime and maintain a healthy weight. Now, this is all in order to prevent breast cancer. Now, according to the World Cancer Research Fund, if women followed this advice, 4 out of 10 breast cancer cases could be prevented. So, what do you think?
How do they know that?
Well, I mean, they're a cancer research organisation, so that, you know, they must do their research. I mean, what do you think about these sort of headlines, Jane? Does it make any difference to you?
I don't want to trivialise this in any way, but, you know, every single day there's a headline that says something is really bad for you, and then the next week it says, actually, that's very good for you. We are so confused. We don't know what's right, what's wrong. 1 minute, a glass of red wine a day is a fantastic thing for your heart. Next thing, don't drink wine at all, girls, because it's going to give you breast cancer. I just wish the research team would get it right, and then we'd all know, really, what to do. And I also think it's luck of the draw. You know, if you've got that horrible disease, then you're going to get it. I've known people who've drunk and eaten everything they've wanted and they've lived till the mid-90s, and somebody who's been really fit and looked after themselves has died, unfortunately, in the 30s. I just think it's an awful disease, and, you know, no matter what you do, I just think live life, everything in moderation, but don't.
I think you can be preventative, though, I have to say. I do think you can do things that can possibly, you know, like, I mean, you can be careful. It's common sense. It's absolute common sense, isn't it? You don't drink too much, you don't smoke too much. And I think I would look at it and I'd think, well, should we be eating more greens? Should we be eating more fruit? Well, that would be obvious, really, wouldn't it? For anything to do with your organs and your body and for health. Because, you know, you wouldn't eat fry-ups.
But Jane was... Sorry, Jane was just saying there about, you know, the different headlines. 1 minute it's red wine's good for you, next minute it's bad. Do you follow that at all?
I think none of that makes any sense anyway. I don't think you should look at that. But I do think if we all took a bit of care and knew that, you know, eating 10 packets of crisps is going to be bad for you, eating greasy food is going to be bad for you. Surely, if we all did that...
There are no guarantees, though. This is the thing, and this is why they do research, and I'm really glad they're doing loads of research. But it doesn't need to be a front-page story. It doesn't need to scare everybody into thinking, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, because people do get confused. And, you know, Sherrie's right. You've got to do what you know is right, and everybody knows what they need to do. Everyone knows they need to eat more vegetables, they need to drink more water, they need to, you know, there's loads of things you need to do. But I don't see that as a way of preventing illness, because I agree with Jane on that as well. I think, you know, if you've got something, you're going to get it anyway. I think there are triggers. I think there are things that make it worse. And I think stress is a terrible cause of things like that. But I think as far as the food and drink is concerned, you've got to do what makes you feel good. And I don't, you know, I'm not drinking much at the moment because I need to think, not because I think it's going to stop me getting anything. You know, it's as simple as that.
But you know if you have something that's not good, you know how your stomach feels, you know you feel bloated, you know you feel heavy. So that must be the trigger to say, that must be bad for me.
But also, Carol, you as well said, oh, there's no point scaring anybody. Maybe there is. Maybe some people won't listen until they read a shock headline and think, gosh, that's what I eat. I eat all those things. Maybe I should stop. And yes, you're a sensible lady, you do know what to eat, but maybe some people don't necessarily pay attention to it.
I'm no lady, don't get me confused. No, seriously, I just think there are no guarantees, and to say, you know, if you do this and you do that and you do that, you're never going to get cancer, is giving people not even false hope. It's just misleading, I think. I think the headlines have a lot to answer for, and I think if you actually sat down and read the research, because there's different research results for all sorts of things like that, you know, that's why they come out with different results. But every day it's like a big headline on the front page, and everyone's like,
and we're all so different. How do we know that diet is bad for me, but it's good for cat? No one would know that.
Because a lot of fruit doesn't agree with a lot of people.
No,
in fact, it makes the milk.
So
I mean, and all the pesticides and everything else. I mean, 1 minute you're reading, don't eat that, organics now, not supposed to be organic. I'm confused.
Have a nice cup of tea.